Hello friends, today our topic is GET request. So from today onwards, we will be practically implement or test various API requests we have been studying from the last few lectures. The first one is GET request. The GET method is used to retrieve information from the given server using a given URL. Requests using GET should only retrieve data and should have no other effect on the data. So while testing the API, which is having GET request, we have to make sure the request we are making should only fetch out the data from the server and should not make any changes on the existing platform. So for the testing purpose, we will going to use the service provided by REQRES, which is free basically for the testing purpose. So for current testing for GET request, we are going to use this URL and these endpoints. So now let me switch to the Postman tool. And in the Postman, you can see the screen something like this. Don't worry about this three collections over here. Just click on this plus icon. You will get the screen something like this. And from there, you can create a service request. Now, this is the place from where you can select the method, like which type of method you are going to create over here. So by default, we will have get request. So leave it as it is as of now. Then we have to provide the base URL, which we have seen in the previous screen, which is basically http colon double slash reqres dot in slash API slash users slash 2. So this is the API request we are going to hit, and it will fetch out the response based on the endpoint we have provided over here. So to hit the request, you just need to click on this send button. Now as you can see, we have the response based on this API request. You can see the status code of the request we have made. The status code is 200, which basically means okay, as we have studied it in the previous section. Then we can see that this is the response provided by the API request. It is in JSON format. The response may be on XML, HTML, and any other format as well. So here you can see the ID of that particular request we have just made is 2. Email is this one, first name, last name. So these response will come based on the development, or the developer create the response based on the request in the backend layer. So these response will be fetched based on those like API request. So the response will vary based on the API request. We have different API requests. So based on the request, we will get some response. So if we talk about the testing purpose for API request, we have to make sure the API status code should be as expected. In manual testing, we have studied like we have something called actual result and expected result. So for each API request, we will expect something, right? In against that expectation result, we will get some actual result, and we will have to validate whether we are getting the actual result as per the expected or not. So let's say we are getting 200, and the format of the response is same as we are expecting. So the response should be same. Here, if we are getting some ID like 3 or something different, the API request will be failed, marked as failed. So these are some case we will generally validate in the get API request.